Good morning. Today is June 1st, 2020, and so much has occurred over the last few weeks, and in the upcoming month to be, we've got 5 planets retrograde. Mercury is going to go retrograde this month, and Neptune is going to go retrograde. It's going to join Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. So rather than having a month where a lot of energy changes hands into other signs, it's all going to be sitting in that one place. And you say, well, what is the purpose of all the retrogrades? Well, the purpose of retrograde is for the main purpose, if you are going inwardly and listening, is for personal reflection and renovation of self and redoing places in your life where you feel you let others down or let yourself down. Today, for the month of June, my name's Eliza de Vries, and I have been a psychic medium and spiritual astrologer for 30 years. I've given over 9,000 readings all over the world, and a lot of my readings have been, if I take the astrology part of my readings, they have been to look at your chart and help you to gain a different perspective on the depths of the soul and what your gifts are, and how when you're confronting certain transits or energy impacts, as I call them, on your particular chart, how to get through those rough patches. The second thing that I would like to say is that I have experienced a lot of physical death in my life. Through that, I became very consciously aware of the other side, of people that had crossed over. With my daughter, we did a lot of hospice work, so we actually worked for a year helping people to shift from one plane to another. And so through that, through the loss of people very near and dear to me, I started to be able to hear them, see them, connect with them, and then from there, other people started coming to me about the people in their own lives that they had lost. For the month of June, I thought I would like to, because we're confronting right now change at a gut level. It's like all that has been buried beneath the rocks for decades, for even 200 or 300 years, such as the racism in our country. All of that, the rock has been turned over, and absolutely everything is in our face right now. So I'm going to let the cards lead me to the topic of what June is going to be. I did not choose the card ahead of time. I'm saying a prayer that this card that I'm choosing will be symbolic of globally and nationally and individually. So first I'm going to choose one globally. What globally do we need to be aware of, as we are all energy connected to all of life, all of humanity, all of the nature, all the creatures? What is the global message for June, for the world? Now, obviously, with all these planets having gone retrograde, this is a global impact. And certain countries, according to their astrological signs and interactions within that country, geometrically, are going to be differently impacted by the movements of the energies in the heavens. So globally, what is it? And as we said, with the 5 planets retrograde by the end of the month, and 3 eclipses coming up, but the strongest eclipse coming up on June 20th in the evening, it's actually June 21st, but the solstice starts in the evening, June 20th, summer solstice. Right after that, we have a 95% eclipse, which is like almost a complete solar eclipse. It's extremely impactful. At that time also, Mars is going to go into Aries. Mars naturally sits in Aries. It is one of the rulers of Mars. Aries, fiery, can be combative, is a self-starter, is impulsive, is the ego that is in its innovative stage, but also can be in its infantile stage. Now, the thing about this Mars is going to stay in Aries for 5 months because it's going to go retrograde. Now, Mars in one sign only goes retrograde, only comes into that sign every 2 years. So Mars going retrograde in Aries only happens once every 24 years. In other words, every 2 years for it to go into Aries, every 24 years for it to go retrograde. So it's huge, and it's going to have great impact around the end of August, around the middle of October, and at the end of December. So we are heading back. We're right now, instead of take a breath, we'll retrograde, reflect, slow down, take a look at what's going on. Don't be overly combative. Don't be, but stand by your truth. What is your truth? All this retrograde is forcing that out of us, squeezing out of us our own value system, and forcing us to also look at ourselves, where we have been pointing the finger at others, where we are responsible, or where we have just turned a blind eye, sat on the fence, or just absolutely not shown the respect or the understanding or the empathy for what's going on right now, be it the people that have had COVID, or people, the massive number of 40 million people in our country who are now without jobs, or the minority races, in particular the blacks at this time, the horrific atrocities that we have done to them since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and before, when we brought them over on slave ships. We have been perpetrating this underlying superiority complex to blacks as a nation for 240 years. And America is about to have its Pluto return in 2021. That only happens every 245 years, 250 years, depending on what sign it's in. So this is huge. So America in particular is being hard hit by Pluto to reform, to shift its entire value system, to look at its own shadow, to look at what it's been burying under the rug, and to shape up and start over and clean house. This is America right now. This is our message, because as we near that conjunction with Pluto next year, we're already feeling the effects of it. We're already seeing the effects of it. And please remember these periods I'm bringing up for you right now. The end of August, October 16th, that area, and the end of the year. These are going to be trigger points. These are going to be tinderbox times. Last year I told you about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in January was going to shift and trigger a whole mass of upheaval and breakdown of values and banking, etc., etc. Now we've got this Mars that's going to be in Aries, very fierce, worrisome, and impulsive, and fiery, going to square the Pluto in Capricorn. Saturn is, by that time, is going to have moved back into Capricorn, so it's going to square that, and Jupiter in Capricorn. So there you've got Mars squaring Jupiter in Capricorn on top of all this Saturn and Pluto. It's combustible, and we better use that energy the right way. Okay, so let's go back to the global card and see what we get. Global card for the United States, no, for the world right now. What is the main focus right now for the world? Okay, so the card I'm getting right now for the world is number 16, which is the Tower card in other tarot. 16 is a energetic, combustible, upheaval kind of card, but we do have the Eagle, which is a magnificent card to get. Let's just take a look at what that means in this deck. The Eagle being the higher vision. So the world is realizing, well, we are one. We are all affecting each other, even though we've, in America, have adopted this ridiculous isolationist stance, which is the bellowing of the dinosaur before it lies down and turns over, because we cannot survive individually as a nation. We are connected. We're all touching and interacting and interspersed among each other, and it's time we get that one straight. So the Eagle comes from the east, the rising sign, and it's a sign of new beginnings. So it's a good card globally. Have you become trapped in your home, in your daily routine, and you don't know where to go or what to do next? That's the question. Well, obviously we have with COVID all over the world. This is the first time all over the world something has impacted the entire world like this. And if you noticed yesterday in London, in Toronto, and in Berlin, they were protesting the George Floyd killing. So they were feeling affected by our brutality, our example of brutality. So this is no longer just in one area of Minnesota, Minneapolis. This is now, as we've seen in our country, filtered outward to many cities, and now is going globally. Have you lost your sense of purpose? So a lot of people right now are feeling whacked. They're feeling more depressive. And so when you feel more depressive, you feel like you've lost your sense of purpose. When was the last time you spread your wings, took a deep breath, and really looked at what your spiritual vision is? Because all of this introverted time was a marvelous opportunity for self-reflection, self-understanding, self-forgiveness, and in turn forgiving others. Because through forgiving others, there's an enormous amount of freedom. The eagle represents that freedom. The eagle is flying over the world and looking down. It's got a much higher perspective. So that's the message right now globally, is that we need to look at the overall picture rather than personalizing this in a victimized way. As we contemplate our choices, ask ourselves, do I want to live in a chicken coop sheltered from life, counting the regular feedings, or do I want to soar like an eagle? So this is a time to create new visions. Somebody said to me yesterday, remember, be safe, be safe. Gotta let the doggy in, part of this thing here. Come on, be safe. And I said, you know, it's not my focus right now to be safe. My focus right now is to aspire to hopefully bring new hope and to expand visions right now. So what is the solution to this? It's time to see through. Stop it, that's enough doggies. You guys are just crazy here. Come on. Now that's the final one. The other one, Flower, is asleep in my bedroom. Say prayers for her if you would. She's getting pretty darn close. It's time to see through the eyes of the eagle. Let your vision of the whole and of its parts become laser-like. Set your priorities straight. What did you come to do in this life? if that's the only thing you get out of this small video today, is what did you come to do in this life? That's what I do love about spiritual astrology, is it's right there in the chart what you came to do. And it also shows what you did in other lives, and it shows the challenges you're going to come in and face. And rather than feeling victimized by it, you've gained great understanding of what you consider to be the suffering was actually had profound purpose, and taught you much that you then passed along as you got older. Did you come to climb up the ladder of financial or social success? Well, I think that's something right now that a lot of people are looking at and going, really, my train has been way off the track for a long time. I need to think this over. And nothing was more inspiring than to see that line of white people in front of the black line of people with the police over on the other side. The white people actually standing with the blacks, which is, of course, hello, we should be doing this decades, centuries ago, but taken us a long time to get that one. And that was heartening. That really was beautiful. And also to see some of the police taking a knee yesterday with the blacks. Yes, Black lives do matter. We are recognizing that. It's time now to fly to your chosen purpose. If you postpone it, you are betraying yourself. And that's true. When we postpone what we came here to do, and it doesn't have to be some big exalted thing. It could be just quiet, humble, loving, tender, merciful service to somebody that needs help, that no one else knows about. Then we are then living up to our soul. And the beautiful thing about our soul is when we make choices that are aligned with our higher self, we get an uplifted feeling. We move beyond the psychological and the intellectual to the heart, to a place of just blissful feeling of that. Just felt so good to do that. Where you set your intention is where you will end up. Seisha, go lie down, please. Seisha's being a real brat. Sorry about that. Third interruption. Okay, you guys go up there. Up you go. Where you go. Go on, baby. Up you go. Go lay down. Okay, now I'm just stuck with one. This is like musical dogs today. It's symbolic of what's going on out there right now. So that's globally. Now let's take a card for the United States. What is the deep, deep soul message for this country right now? I can't believe this. Bingo, come in and lie down right now. Go lie down. Stop the nonsense. These guys are very restless today because their beloved Flower, they know she's not going to be here long, and they're keyed up. So I apologize for the interruptions today. But dogs are very empathic and very moved. Flower is Bingo's best friend, and so everywhere we've gone in the car together, Flower's always been there, and he doesn't understand what's going on. He's very sad. Okay, you go lie down, sweetheart. So this is for the United States of America, and we've got that solar eclipse on the 20th. Really powerful. Which I'm going to talk more about throughout the month. We're going to get near that eclipse, and then we're going to talk about it, because if you remember, I started talking about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in January 12th. I found something I wrote a year ago talking about what was going to happen through that breakdown. And I posted it on Facebook yesterday that it was just written. We were headed for it. And I'm telling you again, 2021 United States is headed for the Pluto return, and we're already within the orb of it. So it's huge. So for the United States of America, what would you suggest as the best advice right now for everyone in this country? The eagle again. So globally and nationally, we have the same message. We've all been living too short a vision, too up close and personal, too reactive, too judgmental, too insular, narrow-minded, caught up in belief systems that are holding us back from embracing all of humanity. I was looking yesterday at Los Angeles. They had one hotel with 300 rooms for the homeless, and we had something like 30,000 homeless. And I thought, what is that? You know, we've got to start looking at those things, because as we have this huge unemployment and people are going to be suffering without money or food, we're going to have to really dig into our own pockets and find that merciful heart and share what we have. That's the only way. Ask ourselves, what would we do if we were in their shoes? So the eagle for our country. That's pretty amazing, out of 44 cards. I think it's actually more than 44 cards in this deck. It is 64 cards. Now, that was a strong message. And if you think about it, we were talking a week ago about the snake, and the snake was about releasing a skin and growing a new skin and feeling vulnerable, and how we must stay in the vulnerability of the heart, because we cannot be merciful and compassionate and empathic if we are not vulnerable to what is going on with other people. And let's ask individually. We'll end with that one, because I'm going to be doing a few videos this week. And we'll end with that one individually. So individually, I got the card of the Earth Keeper. And it's a picture of a woman with a large bird wings. And she's hovering like a chicken would look after the chicks under her wings. So let's just see what that one means, because I don't know the meanings of these cards, and that's why I find them so wonderfully exciting to work with this deck. It's my son George's deck. So the essence of this is, just as you're involved in co-creating your world, you're also responsible for the world's well-being. The Earth Keepers are dedicated to the stewardship of the earth and all life. You've outgrown your small dreams of success and achievement. Now you're ready to dream big. So it's kind of related to the eagle in that broader vision, choosing a life. Now sit down and write, like, what are my God-given talents? And how can I combine those in such a way that I could really do something that would make my heart sing? What makes your heart sing that you could apply to your life? So it says, take on the mantle of the Earth Keeper and reach out to a friend in need who may not have been in touch for some time. Take care of your pet. Feed the strays that come by. And that applies to the homeless too. Clean up your yard, as this is a reflection of your relationship to the earth. Grow a sacred dream. Now you may say, well, how can I grow a sacred dream? I don't even know what that dream is. And we're going to, in the next few videos, do some beautiful, quiet connection to our inner voice, and to our secret dreams, our secret gifts, and the secret promptings of our soul. That's the only way we really know our sacred dream, is through listening to the prompting of your soul. So the way to do that is to sit in quietness, close your eyes just to shut out the world, and let your focus be on one sacred word. Maybe it's God, maybe it's love, maybe it's mother, maybe it's father, maybe it's heart. And just keep returning to that word. You don't have to be in a state of meditation where there's no thought coming or anything. Just let things come and go. Let things flow in. And before you go into the meditation to connect with your sacred self, just say, I would like a picture or a direction or a thought that comes into my brain that would direct me at this time in my life, because by the end of June we are going to be coming out of our homes fully and integrating back into life. June is going to be the shift month. And I would just like to leave you with the one word, empathy. Empathy really is hearing the joy in somebody else's life when they share it, and hearing the pain and suffering in someone else's life, and really feeling it in your heart, and allowing yourself to just meld with that without taking it on, just kind of loving everything that occurs. It's a hard place to reach, but there is the capability in this lifetime to move from feeling victimized by what's going on in our outer world to actually seeing and allowing oneself to walk through pain and adversity and failure without fighting back, just allowing, flowing, and listening within. Because often these kinds of situations that we're all in, when we come out of it, it's for the better. It's to be higher up. And we'll talk about that more this week. We'll talk about fear. We'll talk about the cautious natures that are bred by fear. We're going to look at a lot this week. So I'd like to thank you. If you'd like a personal reading, please contact me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. I send you love. My heart prays for you and feels your journey. We are connected. We are one. We have all gone through something damn hard in our life, and we can make it through this. God be with you. Thank you.